a lot of things, just like Gitika said, related to the topic today. And I'm sure if people who aren't much into digital marketing, if they have joined, they'll also start finding it very interesting. Okay. Okay, so just for my understanding of the attendees, can I have you all comment your course names in the chat box so that I can know which academic backgrounds you are from? Or if there's any freelancer who's working while being a student, if you're in the digital marketing sphere, to let me know. Okay, MBA, mostly, BBA, cool. Engineering, pharmacy, nice. Okay, BTech. Okay, we have quite a variety of students. Psychology as well. Yeah, psychology, you're gonna find it very interesting when I go into this narrative branding part. Electronics student. MBA, but also freelancing. Freelancing in the digital marketing sphere? Okay. Okay, without further delay, let me then start. Let me just first start by introducing myself. I am Nasmi Jajiba Hussain. I am a digital marketing freelancer while also being engaged full-time at my retainer client, that is my learning curve, as a marketing and employability consultant. And as a freelancer, I've been engaged in brand building, especially focused on digital marketing services like social media management, website copywriting, and email marketing. And at my learning curve, I have been engaged with them since their early days. And I have helped them with narrative branding to build a brand on all fronts of digital presence. Okay. And while we go through the slides, you'll get to understand the different blocks that build up to make a really good brand narrative. So just to give you an idea of what to expect in today's session, we'll first discuss what narrative branding is and why it is important in brand building. And we'll also dissect the popular narrative structure used by most brands and also go through the mediums of sharing this narrative and learn how to craft a brand narrative by yourself. Okay. And also, yeah, look at some of the case studies of popular brands in India. So are you ready? Can I get a yes in the chat box? Awesome. Awesome. Let's start then. Okay. So what is narrative branding exactly? So narrative branding is basically the art of using storytelling to connect with the audience on an emotional level. It's basically that, nothing very complex. It's basically that, and it involves crafting a story that embodies your brand's values, missions, and purpose. Okay, mission and purpose. And the story that the brand narrative should resonate with your target audience of your brand and create a lasting impression. So think of it as simply not putting your brand's characteristics or selling, but weaving a tale that shows that your product can improve someone's life. Okay. And it's a really powerful tool that can help you set your brand apart from competition. Okay. So why exactly does it matter? So why is it important? So in today's digital world, what happens is that consumers are flooded with options, from online stores, just like your shopping options, to endless product listings on websites, and to social media feeds being packed with numerous ads, competing messages, grabbing and holding your attention, holding the viewer's attention. Branding is really a challenge nowadays. Okay. And why do we need narrative branding? Number one, it cuts through the noise, because when you have a strong brand narrative, it helps you stand out from the crowd. And even after having, even after having a consistent brand narrative, which is brand identity, which is very important. For example, the logo, the colors, the messaging of a brand. For example, Pregrad uses green and black. So whenever you see green and black, you'll be reminded of Pregrad, right? So along with having a consistent brand narrative, a brand identity, narratives are important to make your presence recognizable so that consumers know that it's Pregrad. For example, there are many other brands that uses the same color and might have similar logos like Pregrad, but what sets them apart? What Because Pregrad is unique, right? So this is how you create a unique brand. And also, in the age of online shopping, trust and credibility is really a major challenge, because whenever, for example, you go to buy a mobile, you first search through YouTube reviews, right? And whenever you search for YouTube reviews, you also compare the prices of the same phone available on different sites. So trust and credibility nowadays is very important. And yeah, it also needs to have emotional connection. Brand narrative, emotional connection is like related, because just like I mentioned before, it goes beyond logos and slogans, and it shows your brand's USP, that is unique selling proposition. Okay. So this is what we are going to discuss in detail today. And by showcasing what your brand stands for, you connect with customers on an emotional level. So this can turn a one-time purchase into brand loyalty. Okay. A strong brand always acts as a compass to guide your marketing efforts. With a clear brand identity, you can always like strengthen your brand image and ensure that your marketing efforts work seamlessly. Okay. So having just a second. So having all these aspects together helps you create a brand message that is unique and which sets you apart from the competition, from the noise of all the digital products available, similar products. Okay. So why narration? Why narrative building exactly? Because stories, narratives are stories, nothing but stories, right? So why? Yeah, someone raised the hand. Yeah, I'll take your questions at the end. Okay. So stories have been around since the beginning of humanity, of course, right? And they have been used to entertain and teach lessons as well as connect with us. So, what is it about stories that makes them so powerful? So let's explore the science a bit behind storytelling, because it's very important to understand how narrative branding actually functions and how it affects the psychology of humans trying to purchase, right? So stories resonate with humans for a number of reasons. First, it taps into our emotions. Whenever we hear a story, we start imagining ourselves as the main character of the story, right? We feel their joys, their sorrows, their fears, their victories, right? Whenever you watch a film or read a novel, you start imagining yourself in the place of the main character, right? So this emotional connection makes stories very memorable and engaging. Also, it helps us create a common ground of understanding. So fans of the same fandom, they have a common stance of understanding, right? Because they all were all read the story as a main character, right? So they can also help us see the world from different perspectives and build empathy for others. So storytelling can help us see the world from different perspectives. For example, sometimes you start understanding and build empathy, right? So sometimes what happens is that you start understanding why the villains acted the way they act, right? So why they became the villain. So this is how stories connect to us. And when the storyteller is honest, when the storyteller has credibility, we are more likely to believe the story and trust them as a source of information instead of taking them as fictional, right? So interestingly, there is a growing body of research that suggests that stories have a powerful impact on our brains. So whenever we listen to a story, parts of our brain that's linked to memory and decision making, they are activated. Okay, this means that stories aren't just entertaining, they are also persuasive, right? Mirror neurons, which is a type of brain cell that fire when we observe an action being performed, also fire when we listen to stories. So these can make us feel what the main character feel, as if you're experiencing the story ourselves, right? Finally, oxytocin, the bonding hormone, right? It is released when we listen to stories, and this is proved to increase trust and empathy between the storyteller and the audience. Okay, so we'll discuss this thing in detail in the next part, that is the hero's journey. So what is the hero's journey? So this is a narrative structure, narrative framework that has been used for centuries, like since time unknown, in myths, stories, films, novels, anything you can say around stories, right? The hero's journey, what it is? It is nothing but a typical structure where the hero goes on a journey. Hero or the main character goes on a journey, faces some challenges, and ultimately transforms. Okay, transforms or attains victory. This structure has been and can be easily adapted to brands. So in a brand story, what happens is that the customer is seen as the hero. Customer is the hero. The brand is the mentor, and the product or service that the brand sells is the reward, is the victory that the customer gets, and hence the hero's journey. So when they use the hero's journey structure, brands can create stories that resonates with customers and show them how the product or service can help them overcome the challenges and achieve their goals, right? For example, as a I think it's still going on, the type of advertisement for the clean and clear face wash, right? The clean and clear face wash. So what happens is that they show, basically, typically they show a teenage girl who goes to school or goes somewhere, and she finally gets gets her first pimple. She becomes uncomfortable and lacks a bit of self-confidence. And then what happens? That is the hero, okay, the main character, the teenage girl. So she embarks on the journey to school or whatever, and she gets her pimple, and then the brand comes around through maybe her friend. Someone introduces her to clean and clear face wash, and that is the mentor, the product, that is the brand, right? The brand becomes the mentor, and when she uses the face wash, the pimple clears up. She becomes confident, and yeah, she triumphs. So this is how brands normally use the hero's journey. So as you saw, the girl went on a journey, I mean the hero's journey of that perspective, and then the brand became the mentor, and the product, the clean and clear face wash, that became the victory. The brand helped her overcome the challenge, and that was the solution she was searching for. So pain points of the audience, of the target audience, and then the challenge phase, how to overcome that, and the final victory, okay, which she acquires using the product of the brand. Okay, next, let's go to the different platforms that can be used for the sharing of the narratives. Okay, so in today's digital age, what happens is that brands have a wealth of platforms, right? Before it was only, say, before the digital age, it was newspaper and billboards. But now they have a wealth of platforms for telling their stories, the brands to tell their narratives, right? So each has unique strengths and challenges. So for example, social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, they offer a dynamic stage for engaging narratives because each of the platforms are unique in their own way. LinkedIn, what you put up on LinkedIn, you cannot put up on Instagram. It won't get any views, it won't get any engagement, right? And what you put up on Instagram typically doesn't perform well on LinkedIn. Instagram and Facebook are somewhat similar, but LinkedIn is totally separate. But yeah, let's see how the sorry. So each of the platforms, they have their own strengths then their own pros and their own cons. Okay. So even if social media is a really good platform, social media including all the sub platforms of social media, even if it's a really good platform to foster conversations, let's go through the strengths first, maybe. So strengths of social media would be fostering conversations and building communities around your brand story. So what happens when a brand posts, for example, something on their Insta profile? People come and engage in the comments, right? And while commenting, while talking, you feel a form of understanding between all the commenters, and that's how a community is built. Okay. And different forms of media can be used to create dynamic narratives. For example, a bit of serious narratives, like how the brand came across all its challenges and how it emerged from a startup to a big brand in written form. It can be posted on LinkedIn, and that performs well on LinkedIn. But that written format won't work on Instagram, right? So you'll have to make it into a reel and post it. So this is how a variety of forms of media needs to be created to create dynamic narratives, right? And the third biggest strength of social media is that ads. Okay. So paid ads is a big boon for social media marketers, because whenever you directly post on social media, you never know whom it reaches out to. It's out to the world, and it might reach someone somewhere in a different country, someone in Europe, someone in India, someone in Japan, say, for example, right? But when you use ads, you can actually uh, sort down the demographics and uh, age of the people along with the gender, right? So whenever, if someone has used meta ads, they would know, and if you go through them later, you'd know that you can sort the ads and you can use them to target your audience precisely. You can also define what type of behavior patterns your audience has. For example, likes to buy fashion, no, sorry, likes to buy mobile phones, is into high fashion, popular fashion, is into, say, for example, book reading. So you can define those type of behavior elements as well from ads, right? However, just like everything, social media also has cons, challenges, right? So the first and biggest challenge is obviously short attention spans. So if you want to like share your biggest lengthy narrative, you won't be able to on social media. It has a limit. And also people normally don't watch reels, like 1 minute reels or 90-second reels, right? Mostly it's around 15 to 30 seconds. Sorry. And yeah, standing out amidst the noise. So almost every other brand has tried every other thing nowadays. So it's very important to have your own brand style, because you see similar content from many brands. So how would people know that it's your brand and it's different from others? How would you stand out from the crowd? So it's very important to create strategic content using your unique values of your brand, unique mission, and unique propositions. And yeah, also because the same thing, the cons is that it's better suited for bite-sized stories and teasers. So sometimes it works good because you have the attention of the audience viewing it, but sometimes it doesn't because you need to share a longer narrative, but you are unable to because of the limits, right? So this is about social media. The other platform is the website. So website is the central hub of your digital storytelling of your brand. So what you can do is that here you can use whatever you couldn't in the uh, social media, right? So here you could use your long form content like blog posts, even longer than the ones that you post on LinkedIn, because it has only like 3,000 character limit, right? So Here you can leverage the power of your long form content like blog posts, explainer videos. You can link your YouTube to your website, and then detailed case studies of your customers' testimonials of how they went on the hero's journey. You can have a detailed case study saying, this customer specifically had this problem, and this is how we helped them solve the problem, right? So, and also you could have full control over the narrative, because you could utilize actually data to show them the metrics of how your brand has performed. For example, at the company I work at, My Learning Curve, we are a study abroad consultancy. So we have the amount of scholarship that we have helped students get receive, and the number of colleges they got into. So we have those metrics on our website. So this helps us show that we are credible, right? And also, uh, yeah. Huh. So, however, there are some few challenges. This is attracting visitors. So how do you get people to go to your website? That's a big challenge, because even if you put up your link on your Insta bio, most people won't go through it. They would rather go through the Insta feed, right? Because it's more interesting. And yeah, maintaining engagement. How long do people scroll through your website? That's a big challenge, because most people just they scroll through, screen through, and they might not read the long form narratives that you have uploaded, right? So uh, this is a challenge. And also, you'll need to encourage active consumption of your stories. So this can be done through social media and linking of small blog posts to one of the media reels or etc. So you make a reel on how this person went through their hero's journey for your brand, and you could say DM me to get the link or something like that, right? So we have solutions to the problems, but yeah, there are challenges, obviously, just like any other thing. And building trust through influencer marketing. So this is the third platform that we are going to discuss today, where you can share your brand narrative. And this is, I feel, is the most important and the most effective as of yet, because partnering with trusted voices, because influencers already have their communities, and they are seen as a trusted person by their communities, right? So when you use them to get your product advertised, uh, it will help you leverage their credibility to your advantage, right? So it is very powerful tool. It's a very powerful tool. And however, just like anything else, it also has its challenges. Number one is choosing influencers who align with your brand values and target market, because influencers have their own audience, right? They might not exactly fit with your brand values or the target audience that you are looking at. Okay, for example, huh. So for example, there's a beauty influencer. So she might not advertise sunscreens as much, but if you have a brand that that makes sunscreen products, they might advertise it, but the audience might not buy into it. Got it? It might look a bit salesy. So if there's a influencer, instead, if there's an influencer who talks a lot about the importance of using sunscreen and all, if you are a brand that produces sunscreens, it would be the perfect fit, even if not perfect, a very close fit. So that is one important thing when you go into influencer marketing. You'll have to remember, that is, you'll have to find someone who is a good fit with your target audience, right? And also, their creative freedom cannot be diminished. So they make one type of content, right? But it also has to fit to your brand value. Exactly, right? So they might be a person who talks humorously. They might be a person who produces humorous content, but your brand is one that is very serious. For example, career consult. No, career is actually good for humorous things. So I'm just giving a vague example. So yeah, sometimes even if the fit isn't as good, you could use it to make unique content. You could ask them, just like I said now, if they are a person who uses humorous content, you can have them sell your career consultancies stuff, right? Services. So, for example, they could speak about how the salary appraisals are less nowadays, how it's a challenge to find jobs now. So they could produce that in a humorous manner, but at the same time, put your brand as a solution. Okay. So this is how, and this is one important. The second point is very important because you cannot just focus on the vanity metrics, that is their followers. You'll have to see if their engagement is good enough to go and ask them to make an ad for your brand. For example, uh, this is an open truth in the digital marketers domain, because many influencers, what they do is that they get bot followers, right? So say 50% of their followers are bots. So you'd be like, yeah, they have got 50K followers, so let's just ask them to do our marketing. We'll reach out to 50K people, but you might not, because half might be fake. So you'll have to go through their comments and engagement and see if they have enough likes, like what's the percentage of likes to the percentage of their followers. So if they have 50K followers, do they at least have 10K likes? At least minimum 10-15K likes. And how many people are engaging in the comments? Are the engagements also fake? So even like in the comments, you'll find some comments are bot comments, like people just comment random stuff or just give on emojis. But how do you know if it's real people? Real people will comment meaningful stuff, right? Not even meaningful, not just meaningful, but stuff that is comprehensive. Like 1-2 emoji comments we can understand, but if people do not comment and engage in the comment box, we can easily say that, yeah, that influencer, he or she uses bots as followers, bots as engagement, bots for engagement, right? And yeah, we have already covered the third point, which is authentic storytelling. So your brand narrative has to fit with the type of the content that the influencer produces. Okay. So what we have seen now is the digital storytelling landscape has a variety of platforms, right? We have gone through 3. There are more, and the key to getting a good narrative delivered is to develop a strategic mix of the platforms. You cannot just post on, say, LinkedIn and leave it at that. Okay, you'll have to get on Instagram, post your brand's fun stuff there. Get on LinkedIn, put the serious stuff there. Put the actual brand values and mission statements in the website and case studies in the website. Make reels of the testimonials of the consumers as well as posts, and yeah, make a variety of mix of them and use them strategically according to the type of brand that you are working for, okay, or the brand that you have. And each of the platforms has their own potential, okay, each has their own pros, each has their own cons. We discussed them, right? So take the pros from each of them and make a strategic mix of it, and so that it resonates with your audience and you can have them give back to you brand loyalty. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, so how do you know if a brand narrative is good? How do you know that? So number 1 would be it focuses on customers. So the best brand narrative is customer centric and focuses on the customer as the main character of the story, just like the hero's journey, right? So say for example, I'll give the example of the company I work for, right? They are a study abroad and career consultancy company. So say for example, for study abroad, for the study abroad part, I cannot just list my products and say, services and say, we offer study abroad in Australia. These are the type of scholarships we can offer, and these are the service types that we offer: visa, consultancy, guidance, one-on-one guidance. We cannot do that because that would not be customer centric. That would be brand centric. So to make it customer centric, we'll have to make it like a case study, kind of a hero's journey. So this student came to us and they had this problem. They weren't able to select courses or countries to study abroad, but we had a one-on-one consultation on them. We helped them research, and then they were able to get into a college of their choice in the country of their choice with a good scholarship amount. Okay, so this is how to make a narrative customer centric, consumer centric, right? Next is emotional connection. So obviously, whenever you make that customer centric story, you'll have to put in emotional elements. For example, they were very frustrated. They couldn't do this because of some emotional thing. For example, their parents were divorced, so he or she had some issues with continuing the rate of study, at the same continuing the studies at the same rate. But we were able to get one-on-one consultation with him or her. And how did we help them? We went beyond just providing them the country and courses. We were able to understand the student, and then we took their assessment, and this is how we helped them, right? Took their assessment, and then we found out that he or she was a fit for this. So put in some emotional element. So this is how you can tap into the emotion of the audience, right? And the third is authenticity. So as you know, nowadays people can detect if you're inauthentic very, very easily. So whenever you scroll through your Instagram feed, the suggested ads come, right? The suggested ads, and even when you scroll through the Instagram stories, the suggested ads come in between the people you have followed, the stories of the people that you have followed, and you are easily able to detect if the ad is authentic or not. If they are trying to just sell you some stuff and like not give you the product, take the money, you can easily detect it right nowadays. So frauds are so common. But to ensure that your brand doesn't sound like that, it might happen that you don't feel that people might find it inauthentic, but you have to see it from a third-person view if your brand narrative is authentic or not, and always ensure that you use real people for the testaments. Okay, because someone or the other will obviously find out and see. If you use a fake person, it will anyway spread and like come back to you. So always ensure that there's authenticity and you are being genuine, and the narrative is being genuine, and it reflects your brand's core values. Okay, and the narrative needs to be comprehensive. It means that it cannot just appear as a single story. This person, we help this person, this is a testament from our customer, and it appears in just one single form, in one, say, reel. It appears like that. No, you'll have to use it across your platforms. For example, you'll have to also put that same thing in a different format on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And also, it also doesn't mean that one post needs to go everywhere. It also means that your brand narrative, brand type of store, brand look needs to be the same. Obviously, the logos and colors are the same. But for example, a person reaches out to you via mail, and you answer them in a certain way. For example, the intro line and the ending lines, thank you lines, are a specific type that you use for the mails. You'll also have to use that when they reach out to you via WhatsApp or say Instagram DMs. You cannot just have random stuff going on everywhere, right? So it needs to be comprehensive, and it needs to be the same across all brand touch points. So it includes from marketing materials to customer service interactions. Okay. Um, let's go to the next important stuff. That is, how do you exactly craft your brand story now? So you have gone through the what is a brand narrative, why is it important, and what are the platforms that you can share it in. So how do you craft your own story now? You're all prepared to do it, right? So a well-told story can help you drive brand loyalty and engagement, obviously. And how do you start with it? So first of all, you'll have to understand what is your brand's identity, because it's the main part of your brand story, right? What is your brand's identity? Who you are and what do you stand for? Okay. So for example, we stand for, I mean, my learning curve, that a company I work for, we stand for helping students and professionals achieve their dream careers via education. Okay. So you'll have to imagine this thing as a strong tree. So imagine brand identity as a tree, and think that the core values of the brand, the mission statement and everything are the roots of the tree. So you need to have strong roots for it to be a good, healthy tree, right? So you'll have to start by identifying the core values that you'll always have. It never needs to change. Sorry. So the core values needs to be same. You cannot change your core value in the middle of your brand journey. Okay. So it needs to be the same. You can obviously like expand it, but not change it completely. For example, a fashion brand cannot just become a medicine brand at one point, right? So you need to develop a vision statement. Oh, sorry. Let's first start with the core values, right? So we were in the roots. So next, what you need to do is to craft your purpose. What is your purpose? The branch would be your purpose. The branch of the tree would be your purpose, and what you offer to your customers. What do you offer to the world, right? And finally, the vision that you have in your brain for your brand to express your long-term aspirations. For example, our brand wants to help, not my brand, I'm just giving an example. Our brand wants to help all Indians become STEM major, like 50% of Indian girls become STEM majors by 2030. Just a random one. Okay? So there needs to be uh, a brand vision. Okay. So this identity as the tree, please remember, the core values are the roots. The mission statement is the branch, is the trunk, and the branches that go out to the sky, they are the vision of the brand. Okay. So the next point is, how do you know your target audience? So find your target audience, right? To know your audience, you'll have to understand their needs, their pain points, their frustrations, what challenges are they facing. So first of all, who are you trying to reach with your brand story? For example, my learning curve reaches out to students from grade 8 to professionals to whatever age. Okay. And the needs and desires, what problems are they facing? We do mostly people who are facing problems with vagueness in career, and they don't know what to do next, and also career change at a very senior level, say for example at 55 years of age. Okay, so you find the pain points and challenges of your brand, and it is important because your brand isn't about your brand itself, it's about the audience, right? So you need to resonate with the target audience to be able to identify your target audience's demographics and buying patterns and psychographics. You'll have to need to understand their needs and desires and challenges, right? And you'll have to understand what problems do they face in their daily lives. So what are their aspirations and goals? What do they want to achieve in life? Or maybe by using a certain kind of product. So by understanding these pain points, you can position your brand as the solution they have been searching for. So use the hero's journey narrative. Got it? Okay. Let's go to the next. Crafting your brand story. In part number 2 includes the third point, that is the hero's journey. So this is a continuation of the last slide. Okay. So this narrative framework, obviously, as we know, it can become a very powerful tool for your brand narrative. And as we just went through it, I'll also repeat just once again. What happens is the audience is the main character of the story, your brand story. Your brand becomes the mentor or guide, and the product or service that you offer from your brand becomes the victory that they achieve using the magic potion. Or, you know, in old narratives, this becomes the magic potion that helps them achieve, you know, fight a war and like take over a kingdom, maybe magic sword, whatever. So the hero's journey, as you know, it relates to your audience on a deeper level, because they tend to imagine themselves as the hero of the story, as the main character of the story, right? So how do you do that? So it comes to the next part, right? Emotional connection. Facts, they tell, but stories, you know, they sell. So while a strong brand identity and understanding your audience are crucial, the emotional connection is what makes your brand story truly captivating. So it helps your audience remember it long after they have heard also. So how do you evoke the emotions? So understand how your story can make your audience feel. Does your brand circle around making your audience hopeful for the future, making them feel confident, just like a simple face wash brand like Clean and Clear, or empowered to overcome big challenges like career? So weave those things and understand how your audiences feel and how you can tap into the emotions. And also stories that make one feel something are more likely to be remembered. So laughter, joy, determination to take action, and evoke emotions, these are like the lasting impression things. Okay. So yeah, the third point. So it also needs to be authentic. Always remember, just giving them emotions on the basis of a fake story would be caught. So always be authentic to foster trust and loyalty to your brand. Okay. And the last part of crafting your brand story is having a CTA, call to action, because you told them a story, you told them our brand is this could help you, we could help you like this is how you can. So you'll have to tell them this is how you can get to us, right? So how do they get to you to overcome the challenge? A CTA is very important because it acts as a bridge between your narrative and the tangible results, that is the selling. You need to sell your products and services. After all, you can't just keep telling a story, right? So it tells your audience what you want them to do next and guides them on their journey. Okay. So frame your city within the context of your hero's journey. So hero's journey for different brands will be different, right? So you need to frame the city within the context of your hero's journey narrative. And if your story positions your narrative, positions your audience as the hero, your CTA should be the next step in their transformation, right? For example, if it's about overcoming challenges, your CTA might be start your free trial and conquer your goals today, or something like that. Conquer your goals today. start your field trial. So it's together as a CTA, right? And the main thing is that you'll have to use clear action verbs, and the CTA needs to be clear. You cannot have a vague CTA. People need to know that it's a call to action. Okay. So what specific action do you want your audience to take? Do you want them to click on the link? Do you want them to visit your website or sign up for something or make a purchase, buy now? So these are the action verbs and clarities. And you'll also need to have multiple CTAs tailored to different audience segments or stages in their buying journey. So what happens is that when you scroll through a website, for example, you'll see that we don't just have one CTA, right? Even if you go through My Learning Curve's website, you'll see that firstly we say start your free career trial or something like that now, and then we under the university list we have maybe explore more universities. So different types of CTAs in the buyer's journey, because whenever you go through a website or make a purchase, for example, I'll give a very easy example. Okay, you're buying something on Myntra, for example. So you click on buy now, then the next CTA is what? Select your address, right? So you have a clear CTA, and the next CTA comes select your payment method, and the final comes purchase, right? So these are CTAs, call to action. It indicates to the audience what to do next. So having clear CTAs is very important in the various levels of the audience journey. Okay, and you can try, if you end up with working with a brand or working for your own brand, you can monitor the performance of the different CTAs, and we have a thing called heat map. So it shows how many times audiences clicks on which buttons. So you will come to know which CTA is the most used, for example, in a website. Okay, because purchasing stuff, you have like easy CTAs, it's page by page, but on a website it has like different CTAs throughout the web page, right? So you'll finally come to know through analytics after some while which CTA is working well for your brand, and according to that you can refine your approach over time, okay, to ensure that you get the results that you are working for. So by crafting a clear, compelling, and strategically placed CTA, you can bridge the gap between your brand narrative and the results that you want to achieve. So this is how you can move your audience closer to transformation or conversion. Okay. Okay, let's do our first case study quickly. Zomato. Yeah, everyone knows Zomato. It's very studied about marketing process of Zomato, right? So Zomato was first founded in 2008. I'll just give a brief thing. 2008 as Foodie Bay. So the Foodie Bay name, it doesn't resonate much with the youth, the target audience that Zomato actually targets, right? So what they did, they transformed it. They rebranded themselves as Zomato. So it became a multifaceted, and also Zomato sounds easier to remember, right? So they have become a multifaceted platform, of course, for food delivery, restaurant reviews, table reservations, marketplace for even groceries, and obviously, most importantly, social media fun, right? So who are their target audience? So their target audience is the tech-savvy young people, young individuals who value convenience and diverse range of dining options. Okay, so Zomato, what it does is that it looks into the pain points of the audience. What are the pain points of the audience that order from Zomato? Long commutes. You'll have to go a long way to the restaurant. You'll have to get ready and go, and you'll also, even if you don't like the food at a particular restaurant, you can't just like send up and try out 10 other different restaurants, right? You can't even like compare the prices then. So when you order from Zomato, you are able to compare the prices of different uh, food items from different restaurants at the same time, right? It's very convenient. So it's a very user-friendly food ordering experience. So, and also, what is Zomato's hero's journey narrative? So when Zomato brand, what it does is that it positions the consumer, the foodie, the audience as the hero here, and they are on a culinary adventure. So the pain point would be they are unable to find a good restaurant, or they just want to search for options. They want to eat something. That is the problem statement. And the challenge, and as a mentor, Zomato comes to the rescue, and they are able to conquer their food challenges and get their reward, that is the food delivered at their doorstep. Okay. So this is very simple hero's journey. And what is the Zomato's emotional connection and brand loyalty? Of course, it's that you get credit points from purchasing, and sometimes they also give you offers like something off, something like that, right? But also they help you. Oh, sorry, they do the social media marketing very seriously. They'll reach out with fun text and give you fun mails. Their notifications are also fun, right? So people also tend to stay because of that, right? Or sometimes, yeah, it becomes it's personal preferences. Sometimes it becomes annoying and you might like switch the notifications off, but still you order from Zomato, right? Because it's convenient. Swiggy for the same matter as well, but here we are just taking the instance of Zomato. Okay. So it goes just beyond like satisfying hunger. You discover new restaurants. You have a simplified ordering process. Going to the restaurant might be too costly than like getting it delivered at your doorstep. So it has been a success till now. It's continuing as a successful brand. And because they understood their audience and they crafted a compelling story around their brand, and they have carved a niche for themselves in the food delivery market, right? They're just not a delivery platform. Like there are other several platforms that have tried the same thing before Zomato, but they couldn't be as successful as them. It's because of the unique selling proposition of Zomato, right? Okay, so let's go to the next case study. So Dove, the soap Dove that we use almost daily. So they also had a campaign. They are having a campaign. It started like quite some time back, 2004. Yeah. So their campaign was a groundbreaking initiative because it redefined beauty standards, the real beauty campaign. So what Dove did is they challenged. Just a second. What Dove did is they unearthed the problem of understanding the of the target audience. So what was the problem that the target audience was facing? For decades, their target audience is women, right? So for decades, women have been expected to have beauty standards which are unrealistic, and they launched their Real Beauty campaign to challenge the status quo. They challenged the idea that women need to have a standard type of beauty, right? And when they also conducted a global study that revealed that only 2% of women consider themselves beautiful. So this is a very small, meager amount, right? So what they did is that they addressed the low self-esteem that many women have, and due to unrealistic beauty standards. So instead of, say, for example, Fair and Lovely, where the brand was pushing the women of India, especially a brown country, to have fair skin, Dove, what they did, they redefined. They said, you're beautiful as you are. it's just for a glowing skin or something. So they redefined the narrative. So they featured ordinary women of diverse ethnicities and diverse body types. If you go through the campaign carefully, you'll see. And their focus shifted from achieving a specific beauty standards that was like one beauty standard for the whole of the world. So they celebrated the unique beauty of every woman across the world, across communities, okay, across ethnicities. So in the hero's journey, what happens? The woman sees herself in the main character, right? So you are the main character. So most women suffer from low self-esteem. So they easily identified themselves as the main character in the Dove's campaign. And Dove entered as a mentor, and their triumph was they were able to accept themselves somewhat. So this is what their vision was. So it helped them own their beauty and break free from the restrictive beauty standards, okay, to define beauty on their own terms. So it's been a series of advertisements that's been going on featuring different types of women from different ethnicities and real women, okay, mind you. So it empowered a very good movement, that is real beauty, which transcended just advertising and also focused on social issues, and it continues to focus on social issues, right? So they used the critical issue to their advantage and also achieved marketing success. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. Tanishq, this is the last case study we'll be going through for today. Tanishq is, as you all know, a leading Indian jewelry brand. They sell diamonds mostly, but also other metals, other precious gemstones and metals. So they also have a long narrative, long story of leveraging narrative branding to connect with their audience. So today, let's delve a bit into their Hira Ho Tum, You Are a Diamond campaign, where we can see how they use storytelling for brand marketing. Okay, so what they did, they moved beyond. Tanishq moved beyond simply selling jewelry. They celebrate women and their journeys. So their brand idea is very different. Uh, sorry, yeah. So they craft narratives that celebrate women and their journeys. So their brand marketing is a bit different. They do not sell the diamonds directly. Okay, they are not very salesy. They make a different narrative. So in the Hira Ho Tum campaign, what happens? They show. I'll just give a short summary of what is shown in the advertisement. It launched 2 years ago. Yeah. So they showed a woman. She grew up from a teenager to as a student to a corporate worker. Then she became a wife and then a mother. And then she was sitting at a Tanishq store where she was pondering if to buy a chain that she's wearing in the photo. So she was pondering if to buy that because it was no special occasion. But then her daughter came to her and she nodded assuringly, saying, "Yeah, Mama, buy this." So she bought it, and then she realized, okay, every moment of her life was special and worthy to be celebrated. Okay, so this is what is basically shown in the ad. So what happened is that Tanishq realizes that diamonds were initially and are still seen as celebratory gifts or milestones that are achieved. Okay, so women get gifted diamonds when she gets married or whatever, when she achieves a big dream. So somebody gives it to her, she buys it for herself. Okay, so what Hira Ho Tum campaign did is that it redefined the diamond ownership narrative. So why to own a diamond only when you celebrate your achievements, because you are an achievement in yourself. So this is what they told. Okay, And also, if you see, it also uses the metaphor of a diamond with a woman's life. So it's rough and unpolished at first, but becomes brilliant with time because of her challenges she goes through, and yeah, the achievements she achieves, right? So it beautifully parallels the journey of women, highlighting their inner strength and resilience. Okay, so it's basically the hero's journey here is basically you are the hero and celebrate everyday victories instead of waiting for a time when you can like overcome a big major victory and then you can like buy our product. uh, it's actually very intelligent if you see that, right? Because it's not salesy, it taps into the emotions of the audience, and then what happens is that people tend to love the idea and they say, okay, let's go and buy diamonds from Tanishq, right? It somehow like gets into the emotions of the audience. So what happens by crafting a story that resonates with their audience? It celebrates women's strength and empowers them to be their own shine, just like diamonds of Tanishq. And they achieve both marketing success as well as social impact. Got it? So yeah, we come to the last slide of today's session. So here are the key takeaways that we learned from the session. In today's digital landscape, consumers, are bombarded with content. You get content on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you go, there are ads disguised as brand narratives. So to have a very powerful brand narrative, you'll need to have emotional connection, a compelling brand story that is effective, and uh, that will give you audience engagement and loyalty, and it needs to be authentic and well crafted, right? So that that it aligns with your brand identity as well as resonates with your target audience. Okay, so here were the key elements, and also we went through the hero's journey and how to craft your own brand story. And the last step of crafting a brand story, that was the call to action. So by following these steps and creating your own brand story with authenticity, you can create a narrative that resonates with your target audience and drive them to action through CTS, call to action, and get brand loyalty and engagement and sales. Okay. Okay, so it's been an hour. So here we come to the end of the session. Let me go through your questions. Shifali, you don't need to be proficient in coding. It's not related. I'm from a literature background. You don't need to be proficient in coding to become a digital marketer. Being a pharmacy student, how can you get benefits from learning digital marketing? If you want to go into digital marketing and combine it with, say, for example, you end up working at um, company that sells medicines, you could help them in digital marketing and like get some bonus points, right? I mean, bonus points as in salary increment. You could say that hey, I can help in marketing your products as well, in addition to helping you with sales. You guys want the PDF on group? Okay, I'll share it with Geetika if possible and see if they can get it to you. Everybody, marketing means a perfect advertisement and making emotional attachment. Yeah, Juhi, marketing means making emotional attachment, yes, but your advertisement shouldn't look like it's an advertisement. The best ad is that doesn't look like an ad. Okay, so it needs to just like slide into people's brains like it's a story, but they end up buying the product. Any other questions?
Yes, ma'am. We have few questions,
Yeah.
and these questions are from different platforms. We raise some polls on different platforms.
Okay.
So, basic question that student asked from us is why we need a narration for any brand. Does a vision is not that to a basic need for any brand? Why we need a narration sort of stuff to
Hmm.
make brand more aware or make
Hmm.
brand visible into a very visible space?
Just it's very similar to the last thing I answered, I feel, because having just a vision statement and like giving out your sharing. Just a second, let me put on the charger. Give me a second.
No issue.
Huh. So what happens is that it becomes very salesy when you put out only your vision, saying I can do this, I can do that. Our brand provides this, but what happens is that people find it very salesy, and when you find it salesy, you don't tend to buy stuff. You need an emotional connection to a stuff to buy it, because advertisements, a good advertisement always has customer centricism. So it needs to be customer centric, right? To be a good ad. You can also, yeah, you can use your vision statement. It's not like you can't, like 10% of the time maybe, but 90% of the time you need to have a brand narrative going on, because else you'll just get lost in the uh, crowd.
Okay, 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 ma'am.
Brand name also, Juhi has asked, is brand name also matter? Okay. Brand name matters a bit for marketing growth, because if you have a brand that people find it hard to pronounce, I don't think it will like linger in their mind for too long. So have a easy and preferably short brand name.
Okay. Ma'am, one more question. That
Hmm.
is why, like nowadays, the content is very like variable.
Hmm.
There are short form content, there are some still content, but why there is so such biasness towards moving content like videos, reels. These things get really pushed well, but the
Hmm.
stills are not get pushed that too well. So,
Hmm.
what is the one insight you think as a marketing person that why these reels and why these moving content works very effectively?
Hmm. I'll just give you a simple example. If a reel is being played in front of you and there's some written stuff, only written stuff, which one will you get attracted to? Of course, it's the reel, right? Because the algorithms function in a way the audience interacts with the uh, creatives, right? So audiences nowadays, because unfortunately, because of the reels, have become have like very short attention spans. So what happens is that they don't tend to read through everything. Even if we get something, even people don't read captions in the Instagram reels, right? So there are other people commenting stuff in the comment box saying this, and someone then comments, "Did you read the caption?" So this is the proof that people tend to get attracted to colorful stuff, moving stuff. This is how the human mind functions, and this is hence the algorithm is pushing it. Algorithm pushes whatever is possible, is profitable for it. So they need to make profit, and they are unfortunately making profit out of our short attention spans.
Okay. Uh, one of the one like I have two more questions, and
Yeah,
this is
sure.
second last question, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah,
So
sure.
basically, you have heard a word AI too much nowadays. Like AI
Yeah.
is a very buzzword.
Mm.
So what's your take that how AI gonna take place in marketing era, and
Mm.
what are the setbacks for the person those are really trying hard in this particular genre. So what is the way a person can parallel AI thing with their skills so that they can grow in the era of marketing too?
Mhm.
And what are the effects of AI in the marketing era?
Mhm. So I always say this one thing: AI isn't our enemy; it's actually our friend. So as long as you know how to use AI and to what extent to use it, you'll be fine as a marketer, because many end up using AI too much. And AI sort of, when you keep reading ChatGPT answers on a daily basis, you're easily able to identify if a stuff is written by ChatGPT. So at one point, it will become that almost all students at least become very familiar with AI and ChatGPT, and they are able to make out if something is salesy and it's from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT or AI generative platforms like Gemini, I always tend to keep saying about ChatGPT, but yeah, they tend to become repetitive after some time. And also they give the similar type of answers because they can't think uniquely. Only humans have the ability to think uniquely. They only generate what's there on the web already. So as a marketer, you just need to have unique thinking skills, creativity, and I assure you, AI cannot take your place. It cannot.
Okay, so ma'am, as you mentioned, the uniqueness and a human touch
Yeah,
can never be uh,
replaced. Yeah,
obsolete. So one last thing that over a duration of certain time, marketing has a very good pace for evolution. Like in previous era, advertisement is what all is marketing, and
yeah.
these two things are the very nearly same things.
Mm,
Now we have a difference between what is advertisement and what is marketing.
mm,
So according to you, in the fast pace of evolution in marketing, what's your take that in near future, like previously we don't have any specific thing about digital marketing,
mm,
but now it is a very significant role for each and every company. Huge companies like
mm,
as you mentioned, Zomato like companies. So these companies are doing completely a digital space of thing. So what according to you the will be the next trend or maybe the next evolution step that this whole marketing industry gonna take?
mm. Evolution, it's very unpredictable. Even when you end up predicting stuff, something else happens. For example, the Apple Vision Pro. People thought people would be using it a lot, but somehow it ended up like threads, Instagram threads, right? So evolution, I can say, is never predictive. What you can do instead is that always keep up with the trends. So the trends, as a marketer, it's very challenging. The one thing that's very challenging is that every other day a new thing comes up. So you'll have to adapt to that. So reels weren't as popular just 2 years ago, and it's extremely popular now, and you'll have to make reels. Just a year back, we could do with 3 posts and 2 reels a week, but now it needs to be 1 post or 0 post, and all other will be reels. So you just need to keep adapting to the trends and keep yourself up to date with the trends. Basically, that's it. You're on mute.
So sorry, so sorry.
That's fine.
Few questions a student mentioned in the chat box.
Yeah.
So if you can answer them
Mhm.
too.
What all fields can we opt in marketing management apart from digital marketing? Digital marketing itself is a very big, what to say, scope, has a very big scope because in digital marketing, many things are included. For example, pay-per-click marketing. Sorry, pay-per-click is there. Then SEO is there. Then social media management. And social media management and social media marketing is different. Social media content creation is different, and influencer marketing is different. So you have varieties of stuff in marketing itself. You just need to know where your focus should be. Also, you could be a jack of all trades. It depends on you. Okay. Um, Juhi, there are very less people who read newspapers. Yes, there are very less people, but you can never say it's zero, right? So better not to take a chance with that.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am, for this
Okay, thank
beautiful and
you.
insightful session. You
Thank you
have
so much.
spared a lot of time. Like we have excused you for just 1 hour, but you have spared a lot of time.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for that. We'll be hoping future we'll be hoping a few more sessions too, so that we
Okay,
can
I'll try it.
learn few more good things from you.
Okay,
Once
thank you
again,
so much.
thank you. So sorry. Yeah, you were saying something,
No,
ma'am.
no, no, thank you so much for the opportunity. I was saying.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your very important time. And whenever these students gonna have any questions, they will ping you wherever they get to
Yeah,
in
they can
contact with you.
reach out to me via my LinkedIn. It's Nasmi Hussain. I'll
Okay.
share the link with them.
Yeah, ma'am, I'll be sharing that particular thing in the WhatsApp groups to the students. Thank you so much, ma'am, once again, and have a good
Thank
day.
you. You too.
We are ending this session, and if anyone have further doubts, you can connect to ma'am on different social media platform. And as ma'am mentioned, LinkedIn, so you can go there also. And we have created one WhatsApp group in regards to get certificate for this particular session. You have to join that particular WhatsApp group so that you can receive your particular certificate. The group link is already mentioned by Gitika. You can check the chat box and get the link and join the group. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.